Hello, and welcome back to Code Red with Tam Talk. I'm sorry, I closed my eyes, the sun, the glare, all that. So I want to come on and just, what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. We're going to talk about this book on the bookshelf. We're going to talk about developing and building confidence as a coder, amongst other things. How to rest, how to take your coding break, those things. So let's first start with the book. Yes. So one thing I must say, you must rest. When you rest, and what I mean by rest, I'm talking about like taking a break from social media and all the chatter that you hear in the internet streets. Just rest and just focus on you. Once you focus on you, you're able to see your blessings or your benefits in front of you. Because oftentimes when we look at other people's, or I would say when we're comparing ourselves to other people, we have a tendency to neglect or forget or not see what is in front of us, which is our own blessings or our upcomings, if that doesn't make sense, but our own blessings. And so we beat ourselves up, or we take on more stress than we have to, because we're focusing on other people and we're thinking we're not where we need to be. We're thinking we're behind the 8 ball. We're just thinking, overthinking, and that may not be the case. So I encourage you all to take a break, to rest, to just focus on yourself. And it does a world of I almost say hurt. It does a world of help to your mental status as well as to your physical body. Because sometimes a lot of us, we take on, a lot of our physical ailments come from dealing with our mental anguish, or we're dealing with other people issues. And so when we remove ourselves from that, the culture would say set boundaries or whatever. I say set healthy boundaries, and you'll realize that your blessings are in front of you. Your health is better, or it is improving, because you have stopped taking on the projections and the issues of other people. Not to say that we shouldn't be helping our fellow men and women. It's just that we don't have to take on those issues that are out of our control, that allows us to neglect our own issues, our own personal well-being. So there's that. So which I guess we can parlay it into building confidence as a coder. Now, I did a podcast on this in regards to like some of the practical strategies we need to use to develop our confidence as someone who's been a leader or is a leader, someone who's worked from the bottom, someone who pretty much worked the whole revenue cycle. I understand and I observe and I see and I hear coders who have some insecurities, and they're lacking confidence in their skill set. Perhaps they didn't get a job, or perhaps they didn't get a job that they want, or perhaps they just they're frustrated with coding. They're trying to find their purpose. And as someone who is who is in leadership or has been in leadership, trust me, there are a lot of leaders that are experiencing insecurities and frustrations and stress as it relates to the being a coder. Sometimes some people want to go back to coding. They don't want to be in leadership at all. That was my case, and that was because of burnout. I was burnt out. Again, I was a leader, of course, during the pandemic, and pretty much definitely before that. But during the pandemic, it was another layer of stress that was added, because you're not only dealing with the day-to-day stress, but you're dealing with the stress of individuals as it relates to whether or not they're going to have a job, with the health, the outcome of the pandemic, new code changes, and all these things that are taking place. And they may have personal issues that you're dealing with, death of a loved one, illness of a loved one, illness of themselves, or just a whole lot of other personal issues that play a role in a leader of a team. So I say this again, that they're dealing with stressors as well. Again, aside from just the day-to-day stressors. And I apologize for, I'm looking down at the camera and I'm sitting in this hot car. Like, what is wrong with me? I don't know. But I want to come on to talk about developing confidence. Confidence is, one, if we're not careful, we're not falling in the comparison trap, which means we're not trying to compare our goals and our success to other individuals' goals and successes. And what I mean by that is, don't compare. Like, you are enough, you're doing enough, you are enough. Find your niche. Yes, coding is a niche, such as the specialties and subspecialties and things of that nature. But find your niche, which means is, what is it that you do well? It doesn't have to even be coding related, but it may tie into coding. For me, like, I'm a innovative thinker, a leader in a sense. When it comes to communication, like, I'm good with writing. I'm good with intimate conversations. Like, when I present, I don't like to do the traditional way of presenting, excuse me. I like to have more of an intimate, small setting conversation as relates to public speaking. And I just feel comfortable. I feel normal. I feel like I can keep it real with you. I'm not worried about what I look like or the words that are coming out of my mouth. I am very much so that person. Okay, I'm back. It's a quick break. Woo, child. But I say all that to say, you need to find your niche. What is your niche? And like I mentioned, my niche is I'm an innovative thinker. I communicate via writing, and I'm an intimate public speaker. Like, I like small groups and down to earth, girlfriend, guy friend type of vibe conversation. Like, we're on the phone and we're just having a conversation about coding. That's the type of public speaking that I have and that I'm great at. And so I maximize on that so much that I focus on, I understand where my weaknesses are, but I try to work on those, but I'm going to maximize on my strengths. So you may be good at a specialty when it comes to coding. Okay, that's great. You maximize on that. So what makes you great at that specialty? What makes you great as a coder? Do you have communication skills? Do you like to train? Do you like to educate? Are you good at educating? What have people said? What was the feedback that you have received as a trainer or a speaker or coder, like, or a specialty or whatever? So for me, and then I've received feedback from people, good feedback. I guess we're going to get into the feedback. They're not so good feedback, because yes, I have received all types of feedback. Hold on one second. Okay. I have received all types of feedback. So that feedback came from providers, because like I said, I was an educator. I am an educator. I am an educator. So that feedback came from providers. It was good, not so good. It also depends on the mood of the person receiving the education, again, which is providers. I've educated surgeons. I've educated a lot of specialists, right? And so depending on their mood, the time, it could go left or right. I educated trauma surgeons, which means I could be in a room preparing to educate a surgeon, and we could hear a helicopter landing on the hospital the rooftop, because someone was probably involved in an accident or something, and they had to be flown into that particular facility. And so the surgeon that I was educating had to abruptly leave to go perform surgery. So there's numerous reasons and numerous causes or feedback that I've been likened to a TSA agent. I'm going to go through a provider's suitcase that is neatly packed and find a negative or where they fell short. So I've received all kinds of feedback, the good, the positive, the negative. It comes with the territory. There's no way that you can avoid negative feedback. Again, I'm sweating. It is hot where I'm located. So it comes with the territory. There's no way that you can avoid it. I mean, you can read so many books. There's only so many books you can read. There's only so many webinars you can attend. There's so many conferences you can attend as well. It's gonna happen. Yeah, you're gonna feel bad. It doesn't make me that you're a bad person. Perhaps you're not as prepared as you thought you were for maybe a presentation or what have you. My book, prime example, the book. My very first book came as a way of getting the information out to additional people, right? Because I spoke on those subjects of my books, right? I presented on those subjects. So instead of giving like the handouts, I mean, I had handouts, but I created small books to educate the masses as it relates to remote coding and to dissecting the social code report. So those are things that but it's not my best work. So what may not be your best work, or may not be the best work to you, may be the best work to someone else. And I have mixed feedback on those books as well. But at the same time, a friend actually brought this to my attention, and I appreciate her for that, because that had changed my mindset about my book, because this is when I first launched the book, and my sales was good or whatever, and I had looked and I thought that my book was selling, but then I looked at a comment from a non-coder. Yes, you will get feedback from people who not even in the industry, who will give you negative feedback as well, child. Anyway, and she reminded me that it doesn't matter what that person said. One, because they're not in the industry, they're not doing the day-to-day work, and two, you just checked and saw that the books were selling. So, hello, like, what's the problem? It's like, oh, okay, that is right. My books are selling. The books are selling. And so I say all that to say is, what you may deem to be, I guess, what you may deem to be not your best work may be the best work for someone else. And I'm still working on that mindset. Because even with my book being in the company library, the company brought my books, like, they brought all of the books that they could buy that were written by me. And someone from leadership brought it to my desk for me to autograph. I'm like, you're kidding me. You want me to autograph the book? So, yes. So I was sitting there doing a book signing at work. Okay. A book signing at work. Y'all, all this sweat. Hold on. I'm back, child. I try to clean up my sweat, but child, anyway. Yeah, of course you look for short on that too about sweat. But anyway, I did a book signing at work because my company, the founder, the president of the company, decided to add my books to the library as a resource for those interested in becoming coders or learning more about coding. And so I was ecstatic. And like I said, to me, it wasn't my best work, but to them, it was worthy enough to be put in the library, especially during Black History Month. So yeah, kudos to them. And I won't tell you my employer. Yeah, HIPAA, I won't tell you my employer. And so, so I say all that to say is, confidence is built over time. It takes time. It takes practice. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes, you will make mistakes. Will you learn from them? Hopefully. Sometimes, stop comparing yourself to other people. Take a break. Take a moment to reflect on your feedback, your skills, your natural gifts that you have, and collaborate with your coding. How can you take, again, that skill and monopolize it, right? Maximize it, excuse me, not monopolize. But, like, for example, I like to write. I'm an intimate public speaker. I have a podcast, because I have control over that. And I write. And as you can see, because I maximize on my strengths, I have a podcast that pays me. And my books are being sold. And also my book is in a library, right? A company library. So, yes. So that's what I want you to say to you, to maximize on your skills, whether your natural gifts, your natural calling, and then your coding certification, your coding skills. Just put those two together and understand that it would take time. Like, you know, it comes with everything. It's not just all good. You're going to get the good, the bad, and the ugly feedback from individuals who actually are supposed to benefit from your message or your skill or your gift, and those who aren't even in the industry. They don't even have a clue what's going on. So yeah, so I say all that to say that you're fine. You are enough. Take that moment to reflect, jot down, recollect all the feedback that you've received, the good, the bad, and the ugly, from individuals that you're actually supposed to be educating, not the ones who just want to be mean. And go from there. So yes, you're in a niche, but niche down even further to find your strength and your calling. So that's all that I have. So y'all, I need to go because I am burning up. And yes, and you are confident coders, and you heard it first from someone who's still learning to be confident in themselves as well. And I've worked from the leadership to entry-level role as a coder. You're fine. You are fine. So until next time, toodles.